this we got 5 minutes. Shabbat Shalom and Happy Hanukkah to all of you. It's wonderful to be together. Now is the season when the days are at their absolute shortest, and it is no accident that we invented a holiday that is all about light, all about trying to bring light into the world and light into each other's eyes. And we are so glad that you are here helping us build community, whether you're joining us here in the room or joining us online, as together we offer prayers for Shabbat and prayers for Hanukkah and blessings and song. If you are here in the room, if you could turn off your cell phones or anything that might distract you or your neighbor, that will help us. We also want to remind you that if there are young people who need a break, the family room is directly across the hall from this room and is open and available for young people with adult supervision. And we are we're going to start this evening with the lighting of the Hanukkah candles. In the famous Israeli song, Banu Hoshech Ligaresh, the Israeli poet Sarah Lev Tani writes, "We have come to cast out the darkness. In our hands are light and fire. All of us are a powerful light. Turn back darkness, turn back dark, turn back from before the light." So now we'll light the candles of Hanukkah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim ha'hem b'zman hazeh ma'osur yeshuati lechana Shabeya Tikon Betefilati Besham Toda Nizabeya Leitachin Matbeya Vitzaram Nabeya Hazekmor Bishir Mizmor Hanukkah Tamizbeya
So now, having welcomed the third night of Hanukkah, we'll welcome Shabbat, and we're going to invite up Sue Baum and Stacy Uffelman and Lauren Baum and Lily Baum to light Shabbat candles this evening in memory of Stuart. The blessings are on pages 3 and 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
מדליק נר של השבת. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
And so now that we have lit the candles, we welcome the Shabbat bride in on page 20 with the words of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu el hamilcham. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'lidilah. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Likrat Shabbat mevor v'nelchad, ki mekor habracha. Merosh mikedem adesura, sot ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, hori hori shirta behi, kevod Adonai alaychila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. We rise and face the entrance as we welcome in the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei hamsegula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat mekabela.
Now that we've greeted Shabbat, let's take a moment and greet each other. Turn to the people around you, wish them Shabbat Shalom. If you don't know them, introduce yourselves. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Baruch Hu on page 28.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla lie, 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 yalla lie, 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 yalla lie, lie,
The next prayer, Ma'ariv Aravim, is all about noticing the distinctions between light and dark, which make it a perfect meditation and prayer for the holiday of Hanukkah. And so I wanted to share with you as our Ma'ariv Aravim this evening a poem called The Eternal Light by Moshe Davis and Victor Ratner. A candle is a small thing, but one candle can light another, and see how its own light increases, and as a candle gives its flames to the other. You are such a light. Light is the power to dispel darkness. You have this power to move back the darkness in yourselves and in others, to do so with the birth of light created when one mind illuminates another, when one heart kindles another, when one person strengthens another, and its flame enlarges within you as you pass it on. To be strong, the strong must serve. In this spirit is celebrated the festival of Hanukkah, the festival of light, wherein the candle that gives its light to others is called the servant candle. You too are strongest when you serve. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
We turn to page 32.
Please be seated, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Top of page 39. We pray together at the top of the page. I said that. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
So we hear the melody of Hanukkah in our Mi Chamocha.
We continue with a prayer for God's protective presence with the words of Hashkivenu on the screen.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamidenu shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim May you shelter us in peace until the morning comes. May you lay us down with love, and may you raise us up. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom
The Amidah begins on page 46. Please rise in body or spirit.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei hakol, ve'zocher chastei avot ve'imahot, u'mevii geula livnei b'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atarav lehoshia, mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, b'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. Hanukkah is all about trying to notice miracles. Sometimes they're the miracles that we attribute to other people, and sometimes they're the miracles that we can only attribute to God. On page 264 are the words of Al-Hanisim, which thank God for all of the miracles that God bestowed on our ancestors at this season. And now we turn back to page 55. We pray responsively by paragraph. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans.
Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred.
Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears.
Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We're going to take a few moments for silent prayer and gratitude, and when we come back together, it will be on page 367.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears.
Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as the song in our heart.
Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep alive in that flame?
What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain?
We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is a burden and this is a promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
I love services in December when our college students come home to us.
Yes.
Thank you, Scout. We continue with a prayer for Israel, holding in our hearts the possibility of peace, the possibility of hope, the possibility of the return of hostages and the end of suffering. We offer these words together. We gather together in faith and with hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel and all the peoples of the earth. Help us, O Holy One, and protect us in our hour of need. Touch our hearts, lest they harden with despair. Guide our thoughts, lest they are overcome with fear. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to those in mourning, courage to those in fear, wisdom to those who lead. Yedid Nefesh, beloved one, reveal yourself and fill the world with your light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Be quick, God of love, for the time has come. Have mercy upon us, eternal one of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh HaShalom. And now we turn our prayers to those in our lives and community who are in need of healing and wholeness and strength. We think of those whose pains we see and know, and those whose pains and struggles we may never see and never know. We think of those who struggle with chronic illness and chronic pain, those who are in addiction and those in recovery. We also offer our prayers to the caregivers who give something of themselves in that search for refuah shlema, that search for wholeness. We're thinking tonight of Marcia Block and Marty Block, Kathy Borden, Marie Bryant, Melba Berman, Eileen Sersansky, Robert Cohn, Stephanie Cousins, Kathy Ellinger, Benjamin Gibson, Marcine S. Goldman, Sidney Greenblatt, Arkady Grinman, Jerry Halfant, Terry Hazelwood, Robin Hodgkins, Christina Howard, Simon Kim, Lawrence Levy, Betsy Lewis, Samuel Lewis, Linda Longnecker, Mary Madrigal, Stuart Miller, Ron Nodler, Magdalene Pessin, Rufina Poso, Max Pasternak-Rychek, Neil Reisman, Sidney Rogan, Samantha Rosenthal, Joel Selzer, Edward Simmons, Bob Stein, Rana Train, Laura Margaret Winthrop, Yvonne Zients, Ariella Sharon Bat Yafa Shoshana, Gelka Nechama Bat Leba Chaya, Levi Ben Yaakov Yitzchak, Sarah Bat Yehuda Leib, Shimshon Ben Fagel, Yehoshua Matityahu Ben Yaakov Prevachana, and all who are struggling with afflictions of body, mind, and spirit. The words of Misha Berach are found on page 253. Couple of announcements this Shabbat. First of all, we will, in honor of the holiday weekend, we will not be having Torah study tomorrow morning, but you can join us for services at 10:30. Then the following week, January 4th, you can join us for services at 10:30, Torah study, then services at 10:30, and then our monthly Shmooze and Shmear bagel breakfast. You don't have to RSVP in advance, just come and schmooze with us and enjoy a lovely bagel. And you want to do the other one?
We have a very exciting event. Our next Music at Emmanuel event is called Got That Swing, celebrating Jewish and African American big band greats. It's right before Martin Luther King weekend, and we will be having a big band here in Feld Hall. It is going to be so much fun, so I hope you'll all come for some really amazing music. Some of our band musicians will be part of it, and I'll be singing, and it's going to be really fun. So come, dance, have a great time.
I think that's it. A few years ago, when Hanukkah and Christmas coincided, I wrote a sermon based on a famous seasonal story. I was looking at it this week, and it feels even more relevant today. And so I wanted to share it with you in a slightly revised form. It goes like this. 'Twas the third night of Hanukkah, and all through the house not a creature was stirring except Dr. Kraus. His wife was sleeping, his kids were tucked in, but somehow sleep still evaded him. He thought of his therapist. It was too late to phone him. He considered his options, Ambien or melatonin. The candles burned out as he sat in his chair. The sweet smell of fried potato still lingered in the air. The Krauses' house was unique as far as the rest of their street goes, displaying a simple menorah in the window and no elaborate electric light shows. In the house to the left and the house to the right, they called that eve Christmas, not a Hanukkah night. In those neighboring houses, socks were for mantles, not floors, and for some bizarre reason, they brought their pine trees indoors. The kids were nestled and dreaming of toys, hoping a magic man deemed them good girls and boys. And their parents also rested from their budget spreadsheets, exhausted from months of making ends meet. But Dr. Kraus was wide awake, with neither excitement nor glee. This season, this world, he just could not let it be. There was darkness he feared wherever he looked. The world was a mess, and his energy was cooked. There was a politics of hate, of anger and fear that made Dr. Kraus worried for the people he held dear. There was violence and vitriol abroad and at home that turned Kraus's kishkas and made him feel so alone. In Gaza, there was war and suffering on a scale hard to imagine, and there were anti-Semitic attacks in Israel, Europe, and Manhattan. Kraus felt hopeless. He didn't know what to do. Never in his whole life had he been scared to be a Jew. Now, as his kids placed in the window a menorah for the world to see, Kraus thought with sorrow about his current reality. Was it safer, he wondered, to keep the candles on the inside? He didn't want to attract attention, though he also didn't want to hide. And his neighbors, it seemed, didn't share in his fear. They weren't anxious, he thought. They were full of good cheer. Their houses twinkled with unabashed holiday displays. Their jingling bells betrayed no sorrows or dismays. As he left work that afternoon, his heart was sinking. He wanted to shake his coworkers and ask, "What are you thinking?" His colleagues had wished him Merry Christmas instead, but it was hard to be merry with these thoughts running through his head. Now Kraus was sitting late at night in his jammies, wondering if his family just needed a vacation to Miami. When suddenly something shook him from his stupor. A thud on the roof like a wayward paratrooper. There was crunching and cursing, though there was no snow, and Kraus could have sworn he heard a faint, "No, no, no." Their chimney was tiny and their fireplace rarely used, so the visitor slid down the drain pipe while most of the Krauses snoozed. The doctor was too scared to move, too baffled to talk, until at the door he heard a quiet, gentle knock. Kraus peeked through the hole, and there stood at his door a figure as tall as one man and as wide as 3 or 4. He opened the door and took in the sight of the man standing there in the midnight porch light, bespectacled and bebearded, with a cone-shaped hat on his head, and wouldn't you know it, he was all dressed in red. Kraus stuttered and stammered. He could not think quick. They don't teach you in Hebrew school what to say when you meet St. Nick. It was his guest who spoke first. He said, "Please forgive my intrusion. I'm sure my appearance may cause some confusion. I know I don't appear to be one of your tribe. At least the menorah in the window gave me that vibe. I'm looking for the O'Connors. Is this not their house?" "That's 414, this is 416, replied a befuddled Dr. Kraus. "I had a feeling," said Nick. As he glanced towards the chair, he gave an infectious, jolly smile and ran his fingers through his white beard hair. I am stuck here, it seems, for a little while, alas. I've called AAA, my flying motorcycle's out of gas. Motorcycle? Asked Dr. Krauss. You use AAA? Didn't there used to be a reindeer that pulled some kind of sleigh? Nicholas laughed with a kind ho, ho, ho. I've upgraded since then. Also, PETA said that the reindeer had to go. Now, he said, beaming with pride, I have a slightly more practical and way cooler ride. But I never had to think about gas when I flew in the sleigh. If I can just sit for a moment, then I'll be on my way. Krauss hesitated, unsure what to do. The Torah teaches that hospitality is incumbent on every Jew, but Krauss wasn't running some kind of modern-day manger. Shouldn't hospitality give way to a healthy fear of stranger danger? The etiquette of this situation the rabbis might have debated, but Krauss invited in Father Christmas to come inside while he waited. He gestured towards the chair. Old Nick sighed with exhaustion and joy. Then he gently lowered his giant body into the straining lazy boy. I haven't any cookies, apologized Dr. Krauss, but if you'd like some latkes, I could wake my spouse. Just something to drink is fine, though I'm so sick of milk. I wouldn't refuse a brandy or something of that ilk. As Krauss fetched the liquor, his guest surveyed the scene. It had been quite a while since he'd seen decor that wasn't red and green. So tell me, my new friend, what keeps you awake? You have no presents to hide or Christmas hams to bake. Krauss sat down in the other chair across from the jolly old man. He didn't know where to start, but after a moment, he began. I was watching the candles as the last one flickered out. The darkness seemed so heavy then with loneliness and doubt. I fear the world has come unmoored, that we're all a bit adrift. To be honest, I was thinking that a little Christmas might give my spirits a lift. Would you entertain a question from a tired, humble Jew? How do you stay so happy with all the work there is to do? As many presents as you bring, as many smiles as you make, tomorrow you'll go back north to start all over. It seems a lot to take. Do you ever get discouraged with the world's most ugly bits? Do you ever want to hang up the sack and tell everyone you've called it quits? Santa didn't rush to answer or chortle ho, ho, ho. He just sat and sniffed his brandy, then he drank it in one go. Hanukkah always struck me as strange, he said with the smallest grin. We celebrate the birth of God. You celebrate a military win. Christmas is a time of joy and cheer because redemption is soon at hand, but Hanukkah is a remembrance of heroes who fought to liberate their land. And what is your symbol for the victory of your Maccabean camp? Not a stone or a shield or a sword, but a many-candled lamp. It seems to me that your holiday is the story of the fight, but also a reminder that in the end, it's our job to be the light. The miracle of Hanukkah is not that the oil lasted more than one day. The miracle is that they had just a tiny bit, and they lit it anyway. What I admire about the Jews you see is not the ways you cope. It's that Judaism at its very core is the consistent expression of hope. On the first night, you light only one candle, a brave act for the darkest day, and maybe that's all you can handle. But soon you can see that one candle brings more, first 2, then 3, and tomorrow there'll be 4. For when we bring light, we are never alone. When one wick lights another, somehow each flame has grown. Your neighbors are cheery as they pray for their Savior, but you, sir, have hope, and that changes your behavior. That is the beauty of this Hanukkah and the reason that I decided to come see ya. Take a little advice from this old elf. You don't have to light the whole world by yourself, but light just one small candle, though it feels small and weak, and pay attention to how that light grows over the course of just 1 week. The menorah's message is much deeper than merriness or good cheer. It's a reminder that when we find darkness, we can choose hope instead of fear. Come, Dr. Krauss, let us relight your menorah. It will be our little party, though I'm in no shape to hora. Then he reached into his sack and he rummaged around until 4 new candles and 2 well-worn kippot were found. Then Krauss in his PJs and Nick in his festive dressing lit the Hanukkah lights and together recited the blessings. I'm glad that I parked here, Santa said with a smile. Doing that reminds me of my childhood. I haven't done it in a while. Krauss was dumbfounded and tried to think of what to say, but Santa had started to get up to go greet the AAA. He was about to leave the house, but before he passed through the door, old Kris Kringle turned around to address Dr. Krauss once more. I don't have presents for this house, but it's not because you're a Jew. I didn't bring you anything because to me, the present is you. Don't give up on the light or jump off the tight wire. You'd be amazed at how contagious is your fire. We need you out there to be a bearer of light. It's not the joyful, but the hopeful who bring an end to the night. With a nod and a wink, he was gone just as quick as he came. Krauss was amazed how nimbly he ascended the storm drain. Then Krauss went back in the house and climbed into his bed with new hopeful thoughts rekindled in his head. Krauss now understood how to respond to the darkness. Who knew it would take a visit from Santa to spark this? Hanukkah's not about an end to all famine, hatred, or war. It's about how we find a little light and resolve to make more. He was still not relaxed. You could not call him cheery, but he felt less alone and a little less weary. And now he could rest, knowing there's always more work to do, but never giving up hope is what it means to be a Jew. And as he drifted to sleep, he thought he heard the motorcycle take off and a jolly old voice saying, Happy Hanukkah, and to all, Chag Sameach. Our service continues with Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282. Please rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. We take a few moments for silent memory. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Our hearts go out in sympathy to the family of Marilyn Oshman, who was laid to rest in recent days. We also recall the yard sites that fall at this season: Harvey Asher, Shirley Barish, Naftali Barner, Stuart Baum, Irene Naomi Rini Goldstein Beckman, Irene Bayer, Sammy Black, Ernesto Blanco Caldas, Betty Lou Blumrosen, Robert David Bregman, Harold Dean Hal Camp, Joseph Carroll, Irwin Cohen, Sam Cohen, Israel Copeland, Anne Rosalie Cypress, Marvin Datz, Lizzie Eisenstein, Charles Epstein, Rachel Feld, Nason Mark Feldman, Margaret Furman Firestein, Edith H. Franklin, Barnett Franks, Frank H. Freed, Bernard Freeman, Morris Frey, Eddie Friedberg, Sherwin Gans, Lorraine Gardner, William Garrett, Charles Gerson, Philip Getz, Rosalind Goldberg, Alan Goldman, Ed Goodfriend, Dorothy Greenstone, Arnold Grossman, Mary Patricia Haley, Anna Mervis Hirsch, Sarah Bessie Hirsch, Frida Hoffman, Helen Ann Hurst, George Hussed, Alan Hubbard, David Jacobs, Gus Jacobs, Susan Rose Brown Johnson, Morris Kalin, Louis Karp, Charles Karen, Annie M. Kirshner, Nathan Krakauer, Lauren Kugler, Jacob Lapidus, Mark Leader, Emmanuel Levinas, Edward Levy, Brian I. Lewis, Joseph Rudnick Lewis, Leon Lieberman, Bernice Gardner Lipkin, Ira Liss, Joanne Lloyd, Kurt Lowenberg, Woodrow L. Molaski, Sam Myron, Leo Neuschatz, Ben Noble Jr., Leah B. Odell, George Orenberg, H. Peter Oshman, James Patty, Abe Pesso, Howard Picorni, Evelyn Pronin, Edith Quito, Anita Reiner, Cecile Robbins, Edward Rose, Martin E. Rosen, Alma B. Rosenbaum, Anna Rosenblum, Bella Sakin, Bernice Schnur, Louis Siegel, Joel M. Selsky, Rose Rudnick Selzer, Morris P. Siegel, Saul Sofer, Elaine Stallero, Leonard Stein, Sigmund Strauss, Elaine Strickland, Miriam Grossman Tarnopol, Ruth B. Tatter, Sandra Treistman, Dave L. Weinbaum, Coy Williams, Nettie Yaffe, Harris Zinner, Selma Zients, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We rise together as one community for the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'kadash shmei rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei ve'al michmal chutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei likud shabrichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiram be'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen.
Osei shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
You may be seated as we transition from Kaddish to Kiddush, which can be found on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon. תנחי לנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת בכל עמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
L'chaim.
I'm ready. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Well, we have to sing my favorite Hanukkah song. I'm going to invite Scout back up to join me. This is a Hanukkah song in Ladino, which sounds a lot like Spanish with a few slight variations. So we hope you'll join us. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Oh, una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Muchas fiestas por hacer, con alegrías y placer. Muchas fiestas por hacer, con alegrías y placer. Oh, una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí.
Get hype.
If you will please rise for our closing benediction. Tonight, a prayer for a time of darkness by Marla Baker. Creator of all, in the beginning you made the night sky luminous with the light of the moon and the stars. You made the daytime bright with the light of the sun and saw that it was good. And you created human beings in your own image with capacity to distinguish dark from light, with capacity to create holy sparks, see into the shadows and shine light where it is dark, and you saw that it was very good. Creator of all and rock of ages, in the time of the Maccabees, once more, you worked a miracle of light, permitting our ancestors to rededicate holy space, and it lasted 8 days and 8 nights. Creator of all and rock of ages, in the dark of night, at the darkest time of year, we light candles in remembrance of the miracle, one more each night until there are 8. Creator of all and rock of ages, too many lights have been extinguished. The world has grown too dark. Creator of light and dark, teach us once more to see into the shadows, to shed light into all the dark corners, and to create holy sparks for all humankind, so that once more we can say, it is very good. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.